Before we begin, I want you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment and think about how far you've come. The battles you fought silently, the nights you cried but still showed up the next day, the times you felt lost yet kept walking. Now open your eyes and realize this. You are not the same person you were before. Something inside you is changing, awakening, becoming more aware. You're not just existing anymore, you're evolving. There comes a time in every person's life when the noise of the world starts to fade and the voice of the soul begins to whisper louder. It tells you, you can't keep living this way. You can't keep carrying what's breaking you. And when that happens, when your spirit starts to awaken, you begin to see life differently. The things that once mattered don't hold power anymore. The opinions, the drama, the distractions, they all start to lose their grip on you. That's not losing interest in life, that's finding peace. In this journey called spiritual awakening, there comes a quiet strength, a strength that teaches you to let go slowly of everything that no longer aligns with your higher purpose. You start to realize that not everyone can walk with you where you're going. Some people, some habits, some thoughts must be left behind for you to rise higher. So stay with me till the end of this message, because today we're going to uncover the 7 things spiritually awakened people slowly quit, not out of pride, but out of peace. These are the things holding you back from becoming your highest self. And when you learn to release them, you'll find yourself walking lighter, thinking clearer and living freer. This isn't just a talk. It's a wake-up call for your soul. So listen with your heart, not just your ears. Because by the end of this, you'll understand that true awakening isn't about changing the world around you. It's about transforming the world within you. When a person becomes spiritually awake, they begin to realize how much of their life was once dictated by the opinions and validation of others. Before awakening, many of us measure our worth by how people see us, how they respond to us, how they approve or reject us, how they praise or criticize. But when the soul begins to awaken, that need for external validation slowly fades away. You begin to see that chasing people's approval is a never-ending race that leads nowhere. It's like drinking from an empty cup. No matter how much you take, you'll never feel satisfied. Spiritually awake people understand that the applause of others doesn't define their value, their peace, their purpose, and their truth do. They start to live from within, guided by an inner compass rather than social expectation. When your soul wakes up, you begin to ask yourself, am I doing this because it's right for me or because I want someone else to notice? That question changes everything. Suddenly, you no longer crave to be understood by everyone. You no longer need to explain your dreams, your path, or your choices. You realize that the people meant for you will understand you, and those who don't simply won't. And that's okay. The approval that once felt so important becomes meaningless compared to the feeling of inner alignment. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's slow, gentle, and often painful. There will be moments when you'll feel misunderstood or unseen. But even in that silence, there's freedom. You start to build a quiet confidence, not the kind that shouts for attention, but the kind that stands firm without needing recognition. You stop seeking likes, compliments, or validation because you found something stronger, self-acceptance. When you no longer need to prove yourself, you become unstoppable. You stop living for the eyes watching you and start living for the light guiding you. You begin to see that people's opinions are temporary, but your spirit's truth is eternal. You choose peace over popularity, purpose over performance, and authenticity over acceptance. That's when you truly start to live, not as a reflection of what others want to see, but as a full expression of who you really are. When the spirit begins to awaken, one of the first things that starts to fall away is the attachment to the past. Spiritually awake people understand that they cannot move forward while dragging behind the weight of what once was. The past becomes a lesson, not a home. They realize that every mistake, every heartbreak, when a person becomes spiritually awake, they begin to notice how much energy they once wasted on negativity, drama, and meaningless conversations. gossip, judgment. And arguments used to feel normal, even entertaining at times, but once awareness rises, those same things start to feel heavy, almost toxic. You begin to sense how certain discussions pull your vibration down, how certain people drain your peace, and how words carry energy powerful enough to either heal or destroy. The spiritually awake no longer find joy in tearing others down or proving themselves right. They see that every word spoken from ego adds another layer of noise between them and their higher purpose. You start to crave silence over small talk, truth over opinions, peace over debates. You notice that when you join in negativity, even if you're right, you still lose something valuable: your inner balance. Spiritually awake people understand that energy is currency, and where you spend it determines the kind of life you attract. When you spend it on complaints, gossip, or comparison, you attract more situations that feed those emotions. But when you guard your words and speak with intention, your world begins to shift. You start manifesting calm, clarity, and alignment. There comes a point where you stop feeling the need to respond to every rumor, defend every choice, or explain your peace to people who thrive on chaos. You realize that silence can be louder than any argument. You begin to use your voice to uplift rather than to compete. Spiritually awake people learn that what you say is a reflection of your state of being. If your words are full of light, so is your spirit. With awareness, conversations become sacred. You no longer talk just to fill the air. You speak to connect, to teach, to love. You start attracting people who match that same energy. People who value depth over noise, honesty over image, peace over pride. And when you find yourself around negativity, you simply walk away, not because you think you're better, but because you finally understand that protecting your peace is your responsibility. Spiritual awakening teaches you that the most powerful conversations are the ones that feed your soul, not your ego. Spiritually awake people come to understand that what's meant for them will never need to be forced. Before awakening, many live in a constant state of struggle, chasing people, opportunities, and outcomes, trying to bend life to fit their timeline. But as the soul begins to awaken, that exhausting chase starts to lose its appeal. You begin to recognize that forcing what's not meant for you is an act of fear, not faith. You realize that if something requires you to constantly beg, convince, or compromise your peace, it's not aligned with your purpose. Spiritually aware people begin to trust that what flows easily and naturally is guided by divine timing, while what resists you might be protecting you from something unseen. The process of letting go of control isn't easy. It challenges your ego, because the ego wants results now, proof now, clarity now. But the awakened spirit knows that timing is everything. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it never will. It simply means the season isn't right. You begin to see that rejection can be redirection and delays can be preparation. You stop chasing what doesn't serve your peace and start aligning with what strengthens your soul. This is the power of surrender. Not giving up, but giving in to the flow of divine order. When you stop forcing, life starts unfolding in the most surprising ways. The right people, the right opportunities, the right moments. They all begin to show up when you stop running after them. Spiritually awake people realize that forcing things often blocks blessings. By trying to control every outcome, you close yourself off to miracles that can only happen through patience and trust. The universe moves when you let go, not when you push harder. This understanding creates a calm confidence within you. You no longer panic when something slips away, because you trust that what's meant for you will find its way back, or something better will take its place. You become at peace with uncertainty because you know divine timing never fails. That peace, that quiet knowing, becomes your greatest strength. You no longer need to fight for what's already yours. You simply align, trust, and allow life to flow exactly as it's meant to. Spiritually awake people slowly quit the need to explain themselves to everyone. They understand that not everyone will understand their path, their peace, or their purpose, and that's okay. In a world that constantly demands validation, they find strength in silence. They no longer feel the need to justify their decisions, defend their growth, or prove their worth to people who only see them through the lens of their own limitations. When you awaken spiritually, you begin to realize that your journey is deeply personal. It's between you and God, not you and the world. Your choices don't need approval. They need alignment with your soul. This realization frees you. You stop wasting energy trying to make others see what only experience and faith can teach. You recognize that understanding isn't owed to anyone, and peace doesn't require an audience. The more awake you become, spiritually awake people slowly quit chasing people who were never meant to stay in their lives. They stop running after temporary connections that drain their energy and start trusting the natural flow of who comes and who goes. When you become spiritually aware, you begin to see that some relationships are lessons, not lifelong companions. You stop begging for love, attention, or understanding from people who are not capable of giving it, and you begin to understand that rejection is not a punishment, it's redirection. You learn to let go with grace, knowing that anything or anyone that leaves you is part of a greater plan designed to lead you toward peace, not pain. As your spirit awakens, your attachment to people who don't value your energy fades. You stop chasing after validation, and instead, you start attracting connections that align with your truth. You realize that forcing relationships that no longer fit only delays your growth. True peace doesn't come from holding on tightly. It comes from releasing what no longer serves your soul. You learn to stand still and let things unfold naturally. Those who are meant to be part of your journey will never require you to chase them. They will meet you where your peace lies, not where your pain hides. Letting go becomes easier because you've learned that what's meant for you will never pass you by. You begin to understand that sometimes God removes people not to hurt you, but to protect you. He hears conversations you didn't, sees intentions you couldn't, and clears the path for what's better. Spiritually awake people trust this process. They accept that losing people isn't always a loss. Sometimes it's the only way to make room for growth, for healing, and for divine purpose. The more you evolve spiritually, the more you stop chasing and start flowing. You move with quiet confidence, knowing that your worth is not defined by who stays or who leaves. You become rooted in faith, not fear. You stop chasing temporary comfort and start seeking lasting peace. You begin to walk away from anything that disturbs your spirit, understanding that alignment is far more valuable than attachment. In doing so, you find that everything meant for you, peace, purpose, love, and people will always find its way back to you without a chase. As we come to the end of this message, remember this: spiritual awakening is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you truly are. It's about peeling away the noise, the ego, and the distractions that once blinded you from your own power. Every time you let go of something that no longer serves you, a habit, a fear, a toxic pattern, or even a person, you make space for peace, wisdom, and divine clarity to enter. Growth doesn't always happen in loud moments. Sometimes it happens quietly in the stillness of your surrender. The most powerful transformations occur when you stop forcing and start trusting. When you stop chasing and start attracting. When you stop talking and start listening to the voice within. So, as you move forward, trust that every ending has a purpose, every delay carries meaning, and every struggle hides a lesson that will strengthen your spirit. Keep walking in faith even when the road feels uncertain. The universe honors patience, and God rewards endurance. Don't rush your process. Don't compare your journey. Your timing is divine. Keep your heart open, your spirit calm, and your faith unshakable. You are not behind, and you are not lost. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Each quiet decision to grow, each choice to let go, and each act of faith is shaping you into the person you were created to become. May you continue to rise above negativity, stand firm in your truth, and walk with grace through every storm. Keep trusting the process, because something beautiful is unfolding, even if you can't see it yet. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for listening. May your heart stay light, your mind stay strong, and your soul stay grounded in peace. Remember, you are guided, you are protected, and you are never walking alone. Stay faithful, stay patient, and let God handle the rest.